I'm Jessie Draper, the Valley Girl. What does your company do? Have you ever Googled yourself?
Totally.
What makes a great entrepreneur? What's your next big idea? Tweeting's like my favorite. Let's talk business.
I'm like the Valley Girl.
Dropbox is a free service that lets you bring all your photos, documents, and videos anywhere. Drew Houston is the founder and CEO of Dropbox. Well, here we are with Drew Houston of Dropbox, only like the coolest cloud thing ever. I love it. We use it so much. I use it for videos. I use it for everything. And I'm so impressed with what you've done with it. Because I interviewed you a long time ago.
Back in the day, a couple years ago.
Yeah, like when you were just getting started.
Yeah.
Right? So catch me up. What's going on?
There's been a lot. So, so I think when you last joined us, we were in our last office, and so we've moved into a new place that's like 2 acres.
You had 2 acres?
Yeah.
Seriously? In a building?
Yeah, I mean, we only occupy a little piece of it.
Right,
but yeah, it's the whole floor. It's like a whole city block. It's like pretty crazy.
And you had a big party in your new place, right, recently?
We had the mayor came over to help ring in the new office.
No, I want to start out, I want you to tell the story of how you started Dropbox.
Well, it started just because, like most people, back, in 2007 at least, I was carrying around a thumb drive and emailing myself stuff, and Dropbox was really born because one day I was in I just graduated from college.
Were you in a train station?
Yeah, I was in the Chinatown bus station, so Boston South Station, and there's this really cheap bus to New York, and I had been making this mental checklist of all these things I was going to get done because I had started another company, and I had a bunch of stuff to do. So I had about 4 hours to kill, and I was like, here are all these great things I'm going to accomplish in this time. And then, I sit down on the bus and I open up my laptop and I get this feeling in the pit of my stomach, right? So something's not right. And I start patting myself down, because I'm okay, and I can just, an image appears of my thumb drive in my head, just sitting on my desk at home. And I'm like,
and that was where everything was, on the thumb
everything,
drive.
all our crown jewels were there, and so then it was just okay.
So I guess this is not going to be a productive bus ride.
Exactly. So I sulked for, 10 minutes or something, and it's not like they're serving cocktails on the bus, on the Chinatown bus, but, so I was like, well, all right. So I opened up the editor and started writing some code, because why has nobody, we had something that solved this problem in school,
right?
But nobody's really solved that for the rest of the world.
Not everybody could be sitting at their laptop and be like, I forgot my thumb drive with everything I need. I'm just going to write a code to connect me so that I don't have this problem again.
Yeah, it's the first and only time that's happened to me.
That's amazing.
It's cool.
That's really cool. You found a need, like a great entrepreneur. You found a need and you fixed it.
Yeah.
You fixed the problem. And did you ever have any idea how big it would get from that moment?
It's sort of, you're kind of 2 minds, because if you ever start the company believing that it's going to be one of those companies, you're sort of, the odds are so far against you that you're kind of delusional more often than not. But at the same time, if you think about it, it's okay, this is a huge problem that most people don't even know that they have.
Right.
And it affects billions of people.
Yeah.
And so the potential was there. It was just kind of a long and winding road to actually realize it.
What's the funniest or weirdest or coolest story that you have heard about people using Dropbox? I'm sure you've heard them all.
So on the more bizarre side, there was someone who somehow, he's a farmer. He put in some message in our forums telling us some scheme about how so he's got I guess a bunch of fields or something and a bunch of tractors. And I don't know how this works from a technical standpoint, but he claims he used Dropbox to coordinate the movements of his tractors on his farm. He didn't get into much more detail beyond that, but somehow he's the Dropbox somehow controls the tractors, or maybe it's something where they have a bunch of people and they get their instructions from Dropbox or something. But Dropbox
so
tractor,
cool.
Not what we had in mind.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's really neat. I mean, and it's really cool that it's on farms too. I mean, Dropbox is hanging out with the animals. So you wrote the first code. Are you still writing any code?
I am, actually. Last night was well, I guess it was technically this morning. I had a special project I was working on, and finally saved some code into Dropbox for the first time in a couple of years. So it's actually like part of, where all the rest of the product's source code is. So it's like it's legit.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I think it's, a lot of CEOs, I feel like they don't, they start writing the code and then someone else kind of fills in later on because you have so many things to oversee. So I think it's great though that you're still overseeing the product.
Yeah.
So closely.
You can't do that you can't code, 100% of the time, but I think it's really important to still stay in touch with, or still stay current on technology if you run a technology company.
I'm curious, what do you think of the other competition? Is there room for other companies in the cloud doing similar things to you? Like, is there room?
We really want to help with this one, in particular, solve a bunch of problems centered around this one problem of, you should be able to have your stuff, your photos and your documents, your videos, everything, with you wherever you are. And then you should be able to easily manage it and share it, and because now there's just so much of it, right?
Right.
And it's so hard to organize it, and it's like, who has time to do that?
Oh, definitely.
And everything's so complicated. I'm fumbling around with my iPad and my phone and my computer, and I got different stuff at work, I got stuff at home. It's just, it's a huge pain to keep track of all of that. And so we do a really good job of dealing with all those problems and a bunch more. And
so what are all of the things that, just for the people who haven't heard of Dropbox, actually, why don't you just give a quick
Sure.
Dropbox synopsis?
Yeah. So Dropbox is a really easy way to just what I said. So you have your stuff with you wherever you are. So the way it works is it's an app that you put on your computer or your phone, and you get a folder called your Dropbox, and anything you save into that folder, kind of like a magic folder, and anything you save in that folder is with you wherever you are. And so I can be working on a presentation at work, and then run out of the office and be like, oh, I got to check something. I got to check it on my phone and see it there, and so you do that instead of having to kind of like email stuff back and forth or carry around a thumb drive or upload stuff or do all the things that people used to do.
Okay, so what's the secret code you were working on?
You get the secret part is right, so you'll see. It's
Don't worry,
cool.
I'm not going to tell anyone.
It's really cool. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, good. I'm excited. So should we celebrate it? Cheers to your new secret Dropbox product.
Right.
Okay, this is to Dropbox for all that you have done and how large you have grown, and I'm so excited to hear about your new secret product.
Well, thank you. And here's to your show and this beautiful pink bedroom. I was gonna say it's like making me all like sentimental. My little sister just graduated from college.
Oh my gosh! Well, congratulations to her. This should be to her.
All right.
Okay. What's her name?
Lisi.
Lisi, congratulations. Okay.
All right, cheers.
Cheers. Okay, so what do you think is the future of the cloud?
One of the things that's really exciting to me is, when I was growing up and sort of, people had this idea that, okay, obviously the internet's going to be big. That's not surprising. But, you'd watch movies like Minority Report, right?
The movie that I think the most recent film that really captures a lot of the way we think about the world is Minority Report.
And you figure, and we say this to investors, we're like, well, Tom Cruise is probably not carrying around a thumb drive or logging into his Gmail to pick up an attachment he sent himself.
Some of them are getting there, I think.
Well, so you're starting to see all of those things, all that, all this what used to be really futuristic around all your stuff being with you. And,
it's like Star Trek. Today is Star Trek time.
And your iPhone is better than the communicators they had in Star Trek. It's pretty amazing.
It's definitely better with Siri and all of those crazy.
It's wild.
And have you heard about the glasses?
Yeah, pretty
insane.
Cool. So all these things that have been promised for a long time, like this idea that you can use any computer and you can kind of be anywhere, and that we'll all be just so connected, and that will data and connectivity is gonna be really available and cheap. All those things are really starting to happen in a big way, and I think there's technological ramifications of that. There's business ramifications of that, right? It's a lot easier to start companies and sort of be productive, and
definitely
things that companies used to have to pay thousands or millions of dollars for are now much cheaper, and people don't have to be. People can work from anywhere. I mean, there's just all these things we now take for granted. But if you go back to the '90s, it's sort of this is another world.
Oh
right?
Yeah, so crazy.
So you're going to see a lot of that continue. And I think from a business standpoint, you have some really interesting things where you have these companies that are getting built faster than ever in the history of the world. You look at the Pinterests and the Instagrams and the Groupons of the world. 0 to thousands or more 10,000 employees in like a few years, and 0 to tens or hundreds of millions of users in a few years, and that just that never happened before.
Okay, I was thinking that you would play a game with me.
Okay.
It's called the Fabulous Cup.
Fab Cup. It's fabulous.
Ready, set, go.
Lottery ticket. Oof.
It's a toughie.
They had like a ginormous lottery that like split a bunch of different ways, like hundreds of millions of dollars.
Oh yeah.
Right? Stilettos. What comes to mind? Have you ever walked around like the city and see like those little like sewer grates, or like not sewer grates, but those little like grids?
Yes.
I just call them like girl traps. Could you imagine like after like?
Is that where you pick up the ladies? Is it in the girl traps?
I'm just surprised that like on a Saturday morning there aren't more like Maybe I should just stop.
There aren't more girls stuck in there.
Entrepreneurs. I'm just people building things. It's and it's cool that we're in an environment. This is like the best place in the world to like do this.
The best place.
Yeah. Python. All right. This is the Dropbox is written in Python. So this is all of our favorite computer programming language. And actually, the guy who made it also lives in San Francisco, and he works at Google. So the future, it's pretty exciting. All right, the cloud. We talked about that a little bit. I think it's really just kind of a synonym for the internet. Courage. Being cool, being uncomfortable, going for things.
Nice! High
right.
five! That was fantastic. That was like the most thoughtful Fabulous Cup we've ever had.
All right.
That was just good job. Good job.
You.
Okay, I think we need to drop a box. We're going to do a ceremonial dropping of a box. This signifies him being crowned king of the cloud. Are you ready?
Yes, we have to be very formal. I'm making this up as I go on.
Yeah, we should be very formal about it. Okay, right. Are you ready? On 3?
And just let it go.
Drop the box.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. I think that went well.
Amazing.
That was good job. I'm like the Valley Girl.
I'm like Drew Houston and Dropbox.
Good job.
All right.
Twice in a row. Fabulous.
Ice cold.
And now it's time for your Dits moment.
This is the sound of things being memorialized forever.
Oh, that sound.